Welcome to the Indie Corner, where we talk about all things independent comics. I'm MiKEY.
I'm Declan.
And I'm Hanna.
And today, people, we're doing another one-and-done story, a one-and-done independent comic. The last one we did, I think, was God Country, and that was a while ago. So I'm happy we're doing another one. It's been so long. So thanks for people who are joining us or will join us while this live is happening. And the book we're going to cover today is in honor of our interview with the multi-talented Kaare Andrews. We're going to talk about one of my favorite indie books he's done, the Renato Jones, The 1%. And it's drawn, I'm going to say what's on the book. Created, written, drawn, colored, and owned by Kaare Andrews. And it's awesome. I'm excited because I've been wanting to do this book ever since we started the Indie Corner. So this is, I'm happy that we're doing it. And thanks Hanna and Declan for joining me.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Yay!
Always.
Well, we'll get right to it. So I know who I think Hanna has issue 1. So Hanna, if you want to talk about issue 1 of Renato Jones.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. Okay, so.
And, sorry, we're gonna talk about the art. I'm gonna talk about the art a lot because I love the art. But yeah, Hanna.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. It's really dope. Anyway, basically starts off with a nice little birthday party. You're introduced to Renato and a character named Bliss. Not much is really shown between their interaction, but then it cuts to like present day Renato in the Caribbean Sea on a cruise, and he's eating with a friend, catching up, all that fun stuff. And what happens is, like, I guess like a waitress or like one of the workers on the cruise ship just like bumps into him, spills wine on his $1,000 shirt, which I don't know that much. I know, that's crazy. And like, I guess like Renato got like super pissed. He's like, "Yo, like, who's this clumsy pig who like did this to me?" And his friend just kind of like.
It seems like Renato's kind of a jerk.
Heck yeah. Like, calm down.
And also, you kind of missed something just real quick. We get a flashback of Renato seeing his parents get, his mom looks like she's about to get got. She's about to get got.
Murked.
Yeah, that's pretty important to say. Might be. Just a tiny detail. It's fine.
Yeah, just a tiny detail. Yeah, murdered. Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah. Yeah, basically she just gets thrown out. His friend's drawn really scary. Like, he has a really big mouth and makes me uncomfy.
Yeah. It's Kari's really good at like making just weird, uncomfortable faces, like intentionally.
Yeah, so, I did not like that at all.
I think this guy's name is, his name is DB. DB is his name, I think.
Yeah. But I don't know if I was trying to find if that stood for anything. But I guess he just goes by DB.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then after that, there's like a super cool commercial that's called "Comic Books for the Super Rich." And it has like a logo like on perfume or cologne, whatever. It's so dope.
The thing is, if you remember from our interview with Kaare, he said he wanted to do his own, get like other advertisers to do ads for his book, but instead of doing that, he decided to make his own instead. And they're like really well done. And what me and Declan were saying earlier, just like it's satire on just like wealth and like the super rich, and it's so good.
Yeah.
I wonder if he ever considered making that a perfume line.
we should have asked him that, but yeah. I would have gotten it.
Made from the tears of the 1%.
Exactly.
Elon Musk's tears. Yeah.
Elon Musk. Really interesting. Oh, I hope Elon Musk, if he does a season 3, is like hinted towards, like he did with Donald Trump.
That'd be great.
Too many people like that, man.
Honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway. Let's see. Oh yeah, so after that, it cuts to the same guy from earlier, DB, with a friend and I guess an assistant named Ming Ming. And they're like breaking
it's like the maid. It's like the maid, I think.
Yeah. they're breaking into this vault, and the friends or DB, I can't tell who it is, just fucking like kicks her out for whatever reason. I guess she didn't like make it in time.
Because she's not she
Yeah, that was
she
Renato.
yeah, that was Renato. Because she's not one of them. She's a worker, so she gets to fend for herself. Yeah,
That
and
sucks.
and it isn't a vault. It's a panic room that's so big it's kind of like a vault
Wow.
because something's going down.
Wow. That's crazy. Anyway.
Whoa.
So, well, they make it in there. And like, DB was like, like, it's like, it just basically features like I guess a bunch of stuff that like DB's into. Like you see like tires hanging and
he literally calls it a playroom. He's like, yeah, it's my fucking playroom. Like, you know.
Yeah, and like I guess like he wanted to show like Renato like what he found, and he found like this guy with a gun and a mask and calls him a freelancer because like he's a hitman or whatever he does, but he's not really.
It's current surveillance. Like that's what's happening right now. Is just like I either think that's what I thought it was like it was current footage or it was like it was or like it was like pre-recorded footage because like there was an alarm going off like wow that's why they went to the room in the first place because like something's going down. So
that makes more sense.
Yes, I think it's current. I think it's current footage like of freelancer.
Wait, like it's revealed later through dialogue. It's like 25-minute delay, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Okay, word. Good to know. So then it cuts back to flashback, like way before, and we see essentially baby Renato is a little kid, like running away from, I guess, like local police or whatever. And it's like, you know, come back, you little rat. When I read that, I'm not gonna be honest, I kind of thought of Aladdin because like that's what they call him, the dirty street rat.
Yeah.
I was really getting mad Aladdin vibes, but basically like I guess like he goes back to like his parents, but like I guess like the police like still get him because I guess I don't know why. Maybe he was stealing whatever. I don't know.
So the guy, like, they're not his like biological parents, and the guy is like very into getting money. So he gets mad that the kid doesn't have any like I think it was drugs, and like blows their cover to try and turn him into the police. But then that doesn't turn out too well for him.
Yeah,
it's like it was because like Renato narrates this whole thing, and he basically just saying that like he wasn't always rich, like you know, like it says he started out as like basically like a street rat in another country, and it's basically like a little tease on like what the reveal on like his origin actually is, but but these are honest folks.
Yeah, and like basically like the like two people I guess like are you saying like they're like he was adopted or just like his caretakers?
Mm-hmm.
Both?
Probably not officially adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they die. I don't really think I need to explain much for this page right here. Like that's what happens.
But like basically just like the man obviously doesn't like him, of course, because he's just using him to get money. But the woman actually like was kind of a mother figure to Renato. Like she cared for him, even though like you know they were both like dirt poor and like on the streets.
But, yeah. Then after that, another really cool commercial.
Dude. Baller. Like Baller. I wanted to ask him if he actually like found a mansion and like shot this thing.
That'd be so cool if he did.
Yeah.
He's like reading it too.
It's a cool card.
Yeah, honestly, and I love how like they're holding the comic book. I think it's so cool.
You know, he made it when your 70s car could match the same tone in paint as your mansion.
Exactly.
I know, it's so specific. It's great.
Luxury. You'll pay for it.
I mean, is he wrong?
No.
No.
All right.
Good old capitalism. Anyway. So then basically those bad guys, those like people after him, basically kind of like interrogate him.
They're the
And
police because he stole something.
yeah. Basically just like interrogate him and just trying to figure out like who he is. Like they don't really know who he is, what's his name, whatever, and gave him two options of just either just like give us like the cash that you took or just die essentially. Then that basically if he chooses to die, he'll probably be sentenced like the next day. But I don't know what happens. Like, how is it that like he was given those two options and then all of a sudden he's taken to a man called Mr. Church?
All right. Because what happens is if you look here, while they're interrogating him, so like, yeah, you either you can die or you can give us back what you stole. He notices because Renato's a white boy in Indonesia. Why is he there? So like, as a kid or no less. So like, why is he there? And basically he just says that like, oh, like he sees his own photo in the missing persons report and is like, hey, no, look, I'm Renato Jones. Like I'm the missing kid that's on that flyer.
That's pretty smart.
Even though he isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Renato actually isn't Renato.
It's fine. Potato.
Renato.
He's a white boy. He's a white boy.
They all look the same. Honestly. Yeah, I mean that's basically what happens then, because they're like, oh, okay, well then we'll turn you into the man who's been finding you, which I'm guessing is Mr. Church,
who is basically his Alfred.
Yeah, and just saying like, oh, we're so happy to find you, and your parents will be happy, blah 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 blah. And I guess since like it's been like Mr. Church says it's been 8 years since since he's been missing. I guess like on the plane ride back, he's basically just filling him in on like what happened because I guess it was so young, and it was explaining like what happened to, like. I mean, I guess like it's like.
It basically like his folks. It's just like he's saying like it's been 8 years since like your father and mom were like killed in like a home invasion, and and basically like he after like the incident happened, he said he was 3, and when he said he just wandered off, seeing like after his parents were killed, like while they were like seeing them murdered, and then like they just never heard from him again, and yeah.
Which I thought was like kind of funny that he filled him in because then now he can just like use that to his advantage of like acting like somebody's not.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they arrive at the Jones estate, and this thick ass grandma comes, and like, she's thick. She like is like so excited to like see her grandson because it's been so long, and just like doing the old good old squishing the cheeks move, and basically like we're just like getting cleaned up, take him to his room, blah 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 blah, and I don't know who says that. I can't really see, but someone says like don't check under your bed, and real monsters can always be like around you, whatever. Who said that? I couldn't tell you.
I think that was Alfred.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So that's basically the whole past thing, but now it comes back to present day again. With both DB and Renato in the playroom, and I guess like, do they like pull up like some tape or something?
Yeah,
they put in a chip.
Yeah, see, like DB is a disgusting human being and has all these recordings of his exploit. I don't know what to call him, like his ventures. I guess
his torturings.
His torturing, yeah, because obviously he's like a fucked up Christian Grey and has been like recording himself like in the acts.
Sir,
why'd I say? It was so and he's just like, oh yeah, look, man, you can just watch whatever you want. Like I got a whole fucking.
Why would you offer that to your friend?
Because they're rich. Because I guess that's how rich people are in this book. Like,
Well, like, do they all feature
in this book? I'm pretty sure that's how they are in real life as well.
And yeah, exactly.
No, but like, do they all feature clips of him?
Yeah.
Why would you want to see your friend do the donkey dance?
He's just like, hey, bro, just like, watch me, like, get some. It was, I was,
No homo.
Yeah, no homo, but like, all right.
Wow, that's crazy. So then, I guess that happens, and like, I guess like the freelancer shows up, and like, it just attacks him, tries to kill him and stuff, and like, doesn't he like also like list his crimes?
He realizes that the security camera footage was what Declan said earlier that he saw was a 25-second delay, and that Renato's actually the freelancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see here, he's literally like the power cuts out, and he literally like puts on his outfit, his freelancer outfit behind him. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool, like, just kind of like twist.
Yeah. Also, I think it's like kind of cool, like how buff he gets all of a sudden. He just like rips off his shirt, and DB's like super jacked.
Oh, that's his watch.
That's good of his watch. Yeah,
he did like a Super Saiyan transformation.
Yeah, honestly.
It also pans back to the grandma like attacking young baby Renato Jones. I guess either she found out that he was an imposter, I'm guessing.
No.
Or she was planning on doing it anyway.
That's kind of the thing with like this scene. That's kind of the thing with this scene. I think it's kind of interesting that like you can either interpret it two ways. Either it's her like finding out that like she knows that like Renato isn't actually like this person is not her grandson, or she was going to do it anyway, and which we'll find out like why.
But, like, I think she found out because she literally says like, "You come into my home, impersonate my Renato."
I mean, to be fair, she already had him killed. Like, if she did think it was Renato, she already tried to kill him once. Like, just because she drowned him in a lake doesn't mean.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, right.
Yeah, she's trying to kill him, and and then DB goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to mess up the flow, but
Like, I just love how because I love like because it's very reminiscent of like James Bond, like with like the lines that Renato says like when he's executing people or just like pandering them. He literally shoves his memory cards of all of his of him like just fucking in his mouth, and is like, how does it taste? I love it. It's so dark and gritty.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a very cool dude.
Pretty rad.
Pretty rad. And then also like it cuts back again to the grandma, and like I just really like this. Like her shadow is like so cool because it's like it's just a creepy monster, and like I guess that kind of shows like who she actually is.
That's one of my favorite things like with the art is that like when Kaare is trying to address a metaphor with a character, it's reflected in their shadow, and I think it's really cool.
I think it's really dope. And I guess like she brought up like oh, like didn't your disgusting whore mother teach you that or whatever, and that just like really triggered him, so like he punched her. And like I don't know how she dies because like
what do you mean?
Well, like it like did she just like fall on the gun?
So
she
dropped it and it went off and shot her in the face. Then the hole that it left from getting shot in the face allowed her to slide through the gun, basically.
That's crazy.
Gruesome.
She died face down, ass up. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Like, oh my gosh, she is way too old to wear underwear like that. I can definitely say that.
Also, I forgot to mention this before, but like I love how like when she's trying to kill him, he's sleeping underneath the bed because he hasn't adjusted to like a mattress.
So sad. Also,
thing is, like,
am I wrong for saying that she's thick? Look at that.
I mean, she's intentionally supposed to be thick, but I think that's also what's interesting that like the previous line was like the real monsters can always be found directly in front of you. Like when Chambers like, yeah, like just like don't bother checking under the bed. Like I don't know if Renato slept underneath the bed, if like because of like his living situations previously, or that like Church told him to, because he knew that she was gonna try to, his grandmother was gonna try to kill him. Think about that for a second.
Didn't think about that one. You're definitely expanding my mind.
Yeah.
New wait. Anyway, so I guess like once that happens and she dies, like Mr. Church comes in, and like I guess he's just saying like,
Good job.
I guess he's guilting. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean he said it to Renato.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like he said, yeah, like like it isn't murder, whatever, blah blah blah. But I felt like he also kind of like felt like he was guilting him, like a child killed by greed and entitlement, and Renato Jones deserved to live. But then I guess he's saying he can live through you.
Yeah, like he's basically just saying that, like, because I love this scene, like, and he's gonna inflict on like how like what Renato does as like the freelancer. Like he refers to like his grandmother's death as like a restitution because she fucking deserved it, because she was entitled. She used her money to hurt people, and she killed Renato's, like the real Renato's parents, and so therefore when like Church is essentially just like he's gonna be training Renato to be the killer like freelancer that he is, right? And basically saying like basically like it's just, this is the first like example of like every time you kill someone, you're repaying them for something for the wrongs that they've done. It's a restitution. Yeah, and then also the fact that like like the real Renato, like he reveals like the real Renato died. Like he's like I don't know if he said like he drowned in a lake. I don't know if she drowned him in the lake or whatever. But yeah, but the real Renato's dead. So like therefore your your payment for living for your payment that you have to focus on like for forever, because he deserved to live, is that you're gonna he's gonna live through you. You're gonna be Renato now.
Yeah,
and I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty dope. Good talk. Let's see.
Something oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Something that interests me in issue 1 was wasn't it in issue 1 when Hill says you didn't stick to the list or something?
I think I think that's issue 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah. But all right, sorry, Hanna, you can continue.
I mean, basically, this cuts back to Renato and DB like fighting, and like wrap the chain around him, and I think it's like really funny that like DB's like on the ground. He could have said anything. He's like, dude. Man, that's so funny.
Yeah, because that's the thing with DB, is just like he's just always this dude a lot, and Renato, it's just annoying, and Renato hates it. Like it's just but yeah, I also like love him during the fight, like especially like when he has the upper hand, he's then doing the restitution and saying like he's addressing like what DB's done, like he's an abuser of women and he's a sadist and a murderer, and his death is his payment for his repayment for his crimes. I love it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty dope. And I think it's also really interesting too, where he says they're not even people, and I was like,
yeah. And I'll just cut to the slideshow real quick, where like we get this amazing splash of him saying his repeated phrase, "choke on this," and murders the fuck out of DB. It's awesome. Really, I love like his black and white art in this book is stunning. It
really is. That's really dope. I like it a lot.
And you'll notice that like for our audience, that like when you read the book, it's like sometimes like when it's like, especially with like his phrase, like there's a dollar bill sign where like the S's are, and it has kind of like a double meaning behind it. Because like the whole choke on this thing is like, because like they're like always like stuffing, like they're always consuming their money to make themselves like higher up or better until they essentially will choke, and then Renato does
with gluttony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, kind of to continue. Sorry.
So after all that, the issue kind of just ends with the uh, the waitress or the worker all the way in the beginning who got fired for spilling wine on Renato's shirt. And basically, like she's in factory, she gets home. All the stuff is like all these like mover workers are like taking stuff out of her apartment, and I mean, like basically, like she finds out like yo, like what's going on, and the landlord says like, oh, you have a new home, we're like removing your stuff, and she's just confused.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
And then it just ends with like Renato going underneath the boat. I didn't get that page, but it's a cool page. But
Yeah.
His costume in that page is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thoughts on issue 1 of Renato Jones? I think it's a really because I know Hanna kind of struggled, and I appreciate that she went through it because it kind of gets confusing. It gets confusing because like you have to get used to like the whole narrative structure of him jumping back and forth between past and present and stuff like that. But I think it was a really like interesting like first read.
I feel like Kaare Andrews love his writing to death, but sometimes he struggles with permanence in the world. They're like trying to like create like a moments where you can feel grounded. Everything's kind of like floating back and forth. Like in this issue, for instance, from past to present, and that's very cool, and it leads to very cool narrative moments. But it can leave people slightly disoriented and not being able to like focus on what's happening before something new happens. But also I have a big conspiracy theory for this first issue.
Okay.
I think he killed DB first outside the list without the approval of Mr. Hill because DB was dating Bliss. Okay, and we see him touch down right after Renato blows out that candle. And honestly, I don't think Renato blew out that candle wishing that he could kill all the rich people. I think he blew out that candle wishing he could be with Bliss, right? And that's why he went off after DB before anyone else.
Honestly, that kind of could be the case.
Yeah,
that could be the case. I actually like that.
Big brain over here, Declan.
But yeah, like just like this first issue was a good like deep dive into just like because like when you read this book, it's kind of like especially like because I love Renato's narration a lot. Like it's a really dope like into like how he thinks and how he actually is rather than with the contrast of like how people perceive him as the rich like Bruce Wayne billionaire. It's kind of like it kind of plays on like I put in the description of the video like it plays like the psychology of Batman and Bruce Wayne a lot. It's like his version of that, and I think it's really freaking cool. It's really cool. And it's like when you read, it's like it's an onion. Like there's layers, and then like you'll just uncover more and more layers about Renato and stuff like that. It's really cool. But yeah, I like this issue a lot. It's a good first issue, but yet can be confusing when wanting to getting used to the narrative structure. But anyone else want to say anything about issue 1 from issue 2?
No, not really.
All right. Also, I'll say this: we also get another ad. Awesome ad. So these ads are fucking amazing. Well, someone say restitution is not revenge. Is not revenge. Oh, awesome, dude! It's just it has the comic in the pocket. Oh, it's so awesome.
You definitely should have asked him what he thinks the cologne smells like. I would have loved to know.
I should have. Yeah.
I bet it smells like iron. Like
iron.
Yeah, like blood. Because like Renato Jones is all about that life.
Exactly.
Someone wears it. He was like, it sounds like a murder in here.
Right, well, should we move on to issue 2?
Yeah.
Right, so issue 2 of Renato Jones, people, starts with we start I always read this awesome. I love this cover. It's dope. I really love his covers in this book. They're really dope. Plays on just like shadows and just silhouettes and stuff like that. And color, I love it a lot. But he seems
Oh, sorry. The blood leaking down that path, like it being gold, I think is very cool. Or like yellow, it's a very cool touch.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like, and also like the tagline for this one, like which is the tagline on like the trade as well. It's like let them come for me, let them eat me whole, let them choke. Like it's just a continuous like of that theme. But we start with going into what look like Ball Towers. And we meet this guy named Christopher Ball, who
No
who is
relation
clear
to Donald Trump at all.
he's clearly Donald Trump. Like this is Trump Tower. Um, and I couldn't like this issue was one of my favorites because like I just couldn't help but laugh because he just is unapologetically does not give a fuck about referencing like famous like wealthy entrepreneurs and business people.
Was he president at the time?
Oh shit. Yeah, because this came out 2016, so maybe.
Wow. Yeah, because
and Kaare Andrews was pretty brave.
Yeah, Kaare don't give a fuck. Yeah, but eventually we get to see Donnie T right here walking out, and he and Melania and and they're talking to then you have again Renato's narration, and there is a person who used to work for the company. He laid off a lot of people. The same thing with DB as well with his company. They laid off a lot of people, and this man's politely asking for him to ask him to get his job back. And then and this man literally just like he's like, and literally he says like yeah, he basically he's like, so you're already taking my money and now you want more. And he's like, how much do you slobs need from me? You losers, make your own billion. And I'm just like, that's so true.
I love that he also says this guy has $13 billion more than me.
Yeah,
that's how much in debt he is. That someone with $0 is richer than him.
And then you know his wife is just calling, being like, "Oh no, it's fine, baby. Don't listen to him. Like, you got your job created." And he's like, "Yeah, He's like, "I'm freaking awesome. Yeah, I'm wonderful. I'm great. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be lovely." Because I'm $13 billion richer. Like it's just like
little did he know.
But then so then that's how the book starts, and we wake up with Renato, and I love how these pages basically like Renato's description of like how he interprets the things that he has and how he starts his day, how like you know he sleeps on like silk sheets and like you know has these custom made windows from like Austria and how every time he takes a shower he like a hot shower doesn't satisfy him, it isn't enough, so he has to take a cold one just to, like you know enjoy it because you know deep down like he knows he doesn't really deserve or need these things. I think it's really cool. And then while he's taking a shower, Bliss comes out of nowhere and is like, "Hi, Renato." Surprise.
Surprise.
and he's just like, I think it's like it's kind of weird because like she refers to him as like as brother, as like their brother and sister, when he's like,
little
no, we're
brother,
not,
right?
we're just neighbors. and we'll see throughout the book like everyone else also sees them as like brother and sister as well. And he's like, we're just neighbors. But and like she bites his ear for some reason. I don't know. She's just weird. She's just a tease. It's kind of weird.
Right after calling him brother, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it's kind of weird, but like, and like, I think it's interesting, like, with the narration that like he also said that like Bliss is an exception to like his mission to like the 1% because Bliss is revealed that like she's adopted. So like she and him are pretty much in like the same, like they're two sides of the same coin as he describes it, because they both weren't born or into wealth or didn't like you know raise a lot of money or like you know come into wealth like through hard work. They just happened to be there, you know, like, and they were both in bad situations. So it's a really cool, interesting dichotomy for their character. And then she,
so you know, I'm sorry. Does that mean that he kills women too, like rich women as well?
Yeah,
I won't say.
Never mind.
But yeah, but then she hugs Mr. Church. Is like, like you know, apologies. I was just allowing myself in. Mr. Church doesn't like her, from what it seems like.
None whatsoever.
Yeah. But basically, but then she leaves, being like, "Hey, like, like, Renato, you have to stop being a lonely, like a lonely, sad, lonely person, and just like, we have to go out and like, have some dinner with some friends." And he's like, "I don't really want to, but I'll do anything you say." He likes to. Renato will follow her anywhere because that's his only friend, basically, like
Sim.
real friend in his eyes. Yeah, he's a simp. Um, but but yeah, so then when she leaves, and thing is like, uh she also reveals that like DB's been missing. Like DB was her boyfriend, he's been missing, and it's like, oh, like, like he's been not missing, but he's been gone for a little bit. He has like bonus opportunities and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool, even though I just killed him. But Mr. Church comes in and is like, is like, we have to, like, it reminds him like, hey, like, I don't you took a name that that wasn't on the list. I warned you not to do something so risky. And it's like, it's fine, don't worry. It's fine. It's an advantage because we're gonna use his invitation to this he has an invitation that will lead us to our next target. And then he basically is like, prep my suit, get it pressed, prep the weapons. And he's like, hey, like, you need a car, right? Because you have to blend in as much as you can. It's like, yeah. Can you he's like, shall I get the Lamborghini? He's like, yeah, the gold one. And we see his gold Lambo.
Wow. Sick.
His gold Lambo cash, as the kids say. And yeah, so he goes up to this event, and it's like he's like this fancy, just like party at this like mansion, like this big ass mansion on the cliff. He gets introduced to this concierge, I'll say, character, who and it's a masquerade ball. So like he and everything is like, Ronald already has a mask, but he's going as DB, using DB's invitation. And it is revealed, I did not put this in, but thank God I didn't, but it's fine. It's this massive orgy.
Wild.
This party is just a massive orgy. And just, I didn't put the paper down. Everybody fucking. They're fucking on the balcony. They're fucking in the pool. They're fucking on tape. Everyone's just fucking. It's wild. But the thing is, like, I love the narration here because he describes, like, the fact that, like, about the bellhop just, like, sucking up to him. He describes him as a viper, as a snake, because that's really what he's a snake that is, using his wealth for the wrong reasons. And Renato basically like maintains his cover and is going along as DB, wanting to, find some entertainment. And things like Renato doesn't like doing this deep down, like, but like he plays along with the whole rich 1% character. I think it's really interesting.
I mean, he doesn't like doing it, but he does enjoy it, it seems.
Yeah. But yeah, so transitions to the concierge is trying to ask him, like, hey, like, so here are women, which one do you want? Renato says all of them, playing with that role, and then basically, like, the guy says bon appetit, and then therefore he's gonna enjoy a little party of his own. And I like this shot, like, I don't have it here, but it closes in on his eyes, and like he says, like, he said he doesn't like taking advantage of like the workers and stuff, but sometimes he just has to let his mask of a billionaire take over. And it zooms in on the mask and we get this flashback of him as a child, him meeting Bliss for the first time, saying that, like, introducing him as her neighbor, and the fact that, like, like they're trying to, like, be friends, that she wants to be friends with him and stuff like that. And then Mr. Church is like, hey, Renato, get inside, like, you have to tutor yourself, you have time for some homeschooling. So then he goes in reality it's not actually homeschooling, he is training him, telling him to pick, I love this, telling him to pick his weapon, either the loud crack of justice with 6 that will only give you 6 shots, but you can go cold, it's a distance with the gun, or be up close and personal, and with the slash of judgment with the knife. And when I was like, take some duct tape, I was like, why can't I just do both instead? To be the justice and the judgment. It's
innovative.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good writing. But he's like, but like, first, can we paint the house first? Because he hates how the mansion's still pink. But yeah, so it transitions back to to Renato, just Renato just like, he just, to quote unquote, just fuck some bitches. And I love the shot of we see the shadow again, the more shadow stuff. The concierge shadow looks more like a monstrous viper looking because he describes him as a snake, and he takes him down to the downstairs because DB, since he's a platinum member, gets some privileges, stuff that's off the menu, and he leads him down the staircase to a highly guarded door, and we get to see what the exceptional platinum member experience looks like, and it's revealed to be a room filled with kids, and basically like all these, and I love this page as well, like these kids are crying watching the same like Barney episode, Sesame Street episode over and over and over again, talking about how much they like to party, like brainwashing them. And then this literally just resets, so like sets him up.
Snaps.
He literally snaps and decides to go ape shit and starts killing everybody.
That's such a cool scene. I loved how that was drawn.
Yeah, it's really dope. Scene. Snaps the concierge's neck and just starts getting his gun blade, starts shooting everybody. And like my favorite thing in this scene is that, like, Church always told him every time he's surrounded, the best thing to do is to stay surrounded, and he starts murking everybody, and very violent, very brutal, and starts taking guys out one by one. And then he goes into the exclusive members room where we see the Christopher Ball, Donald Trump character, and a bunch of other members of the 1% there. And they're trying to, like, they're all butt ass naked, and he basically says, "You know what, guys?" And he's like, and he basically goes in more reading them their restitutions. He's saying, like, listen, it's fine. Like, you've been charged with like perversion, abduction, and like any murdered hopes and dreams of countless people. But like, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. The cost of restitution is there's going to be I have a job position open, so you have an opportunity to basically create a charity event, to create a new charity for trafficked children and orphan kids. And he's like, we love children, we'll do anything, not die. But like, here's the thing: there's only one slot available to start this organization, and here are your applications. And he throws a bag of various hammers and screwdrivers and wrenches, and he's like, and it's like, listen, here's a chance for you guys to actually, like, work to earn something in your lives. And basically, it's like, have fun applying. And then it just transitioned to, like, Renato basically thinking, like, okay, I gotta get this kid out of here, while the 1%ers murder each other, and it's wild. And he gets these shit on a bus and he calls the police. And so then it's revealed, the one person who was left is Donald Trump.
Winning.
Winning. And he basically just says, congratulations. He's like, I did it. He's like, oh, congratulations. He's like, thank you for the opportunity, because I love to, like, work with kids. Bullshit. And he's like, of course. And he's like, of course, like, you proved your loyalty. And he's like, here's the thing, though. I'm afraid the position has been filled. So he killed all of them for nothing. and it's like, we're going to lay you off as, like, as symmetry to Ball laying off his workers. And he's like, but he's like, well, here's the thing, though. Like, here's a gift for you. And he's revealed to open the box. It's a gun. And he's like, but here's the thing, though. Either you can, two options. Either you can kill yourself, either you can use this gun to do whatever you want with it, or you can live a ordinary life, a middle-aged, be part of the middle class. And he's like, and he's like, that's not a life. I can't do that. That's impossible. I can't, like, and he starts freaking out. And he's like, I can't do this. And he's like, oh, suit yourself. Renato leaves. He takes the gun, starts shooting at Renato. Renato gets hit, but it's just a flesh wound. And he's like, where? He's saying, like, and it's pitch black. Like, where are you? And he's like, he's here. And he literally rips off Ball's toupee. And he rips the toupee off. You see the glue. And like, yes. Because obviously, Trump wears a toupee.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, if you're not happy with the compensation, there's always alternatives, And he's like, either live in the suburbs, be a middle class worker, and disappear. And he's like, he's like, you call that living? And he's like, I can't. He's like, you're a goddamn monster. And he shoots himself. because
Jeez.
and I love Renato always says like he's like yeah, given the choice, they always end up killing themselves no matter what because they can't deal with living a middle being a middle
A
class.
comfortable middle class life is too much of a punishment for them.
I know,
Exactly.
what a nightmare.
And then yeah, and I love like what he says like the gluttons always take more than they need. It's like a sickness not knowing when to stop. Choke on this, and it's like awesome. And then and then also yeah, he revealed it like yeah, I already sent a video out of you murdering all of these people, and there's a broadcast happening, and we see there below of him killing him and he's saying this message like like hey guys stop he's like like I'm gonna come after you guys because you're ruining people's lives with your money and it transitions we see here like a board meeting that's happening with a character to reveal that is Bliss's father Nicola Chambers, and they're trying to figure out a best course of action because he's the freelancer like nobody controls him, and he's like nah, freelancers is simply a name we use to avoid to avoid paying benefits. That's what a freelancer is, and and so then what he decides to contact a guy by the name of Mr. Wicked Awesome to take down Renato Jones try to take down the freelancer because he's making
Such a cool name.
Yeah, he's doing no good, and that's when issue 2 ends. So thoughts on issue 2, people? One of my favorite issues. I love issue 2 a lot.
So were those kids just like gonna be trafficked or something? Like why were they held there in the first place at that party?
To be used as
Jeffrey Epstein.
That's what I thought. Ugh, that's so sad.
And trafficked as well. So yeah. But yeah, it's a real I love it. Like just, again, more narration, a lot of great action, a lot of social commentary, and I love the fact that Ball is literally Trump.
Yeah.
Also, like when he kills everybody, like I would love to see that live action. That would be so cool.
That's like it reminds me of that scene in Kingsman.
That's what I was gonna say. Kingsman in the church.
Yeah, and it was church in Kingsman, like
with the Freebird in the background.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's a really good issue. Like it's again, I love that that commentary and that how unapologetic Kaare is being with Renato in the world of Renato and stuff like that. So yeah, anyone else have any thoughts on issue 2?
Nice. It was a nice way of setting up his character and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. All right then. So okay, so I guess we'll move on to issue 3. I think Declan, that's you.
Yeah. So issue 3 is pretty interesting. The first few panels. Oh well, one I want to talk about this cover. I really enjoy this cover. I think it's my favorite one out of the series.
I couldn't get the whole thing. I can only get the first part of it, but it continues.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting look of the mask that we haven't seen yet, like an interesting perspective. The mask is almost like a ski mask with something hard on top of it. But yeah, so going into the actual issue, we're introduced to this woman in a penthouse, and she is the praying mantis.
Yeah, that's like her nickname.
Yes, so she gets with very wealthy men, and then kills them during intercourse, usually.
My hero.
Her name is Judith Bates. That's her name, but her nickname is the praying mantis.
And Renato's after her because not only does she kill the wealthy elite, but also the people investigating her. I really like the first few scenes because it's very noir-esque. It reminds me like a very smoky mirror, like that kind of stuff. Something else I thought was interesting was the fact that we kind of see a flaw in Mr. Renato's character here. He spends the night with her instead of killing her. And then the next day, while she is running away, snipes her from the tower.
Jeez.
Yeah. The way it's written, though, it's almost like it's a mercy because she that night was asking for him to save her from that life. And I guess his belief was the only way he could save her now was by ending it. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like she basically
definitely.
basically. I mean,
Yeah.
basically just like, she even the way that she gained her money, she knew that like the walls were gonna close in on her eventually, and it wouldn't last forever. So like, and honestly, it was making her like kind of depressed, and like she just couldn't deal with it anymore. So like, we seen like, especially like in this panel here, we see her draw a target. Like she knew that like she knew that like the freelance was gonna come and get her at some point, and she wanted him to, and and then Renato again, like it's very James Bond. Like James Bond, if anyone's watched, he always sleeps with somebody in every movie.
100%.
Like either way, if it's like a nurse that's tending his wounds or just like a waitress, it's somebody who he thinks is attractive, or maybe it's even like a target that he's going after. So it's very when Kaare said like James Bond was inspiration, I can definitely see that like in these few pages. And then
I thought the Prey, like the PRA/EY, was an interesting visual, a nice indication of what was to come. Like saying that both one of them is the prey, but also Renato should pray after this experience. Yeah. So then after that, we're introduced to.
We gotta show off this real quick. The money shot, baby.
Cool. Very cool introduction.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
He is very naked during.
Yeah, I had to crop out something, but
except for the mask, he keeps the mask on.
Yeah, he does.
He keeps the mask on.
The fact that he wakes up. And obviously, we can assume she knows who he is because they slept with each other. And then he agrees to put the mask on and then snipe her naked. And it's like, what?
Yeah. See,
I thought it was that he kept it on.
No, he puts it on afterwards when he wakes up. And my thought there is he thinks that Renato Jones was probably the person that slept with her. And he is the, what's he called? The freelancer. Like, Bruce Wayne Batman sort of thing. The freelancer is the one that killed her. Renato Jones is the one that spent the night with her. Something like that.
Big word again. This is number 2 stream.
I try. So next we're shown the suburb. And given some cool narrative that like suburbs are almost like a shaped like a boot. As opposed to like city grids, where city grids you could go left, right, anywhere. You have choice, freedom. Suburbs have dead ends. They have roads leading places that don't lead anywhere else. All of that stuff, and usually, we can see in that picture they're shaped like boots, which he's alluding to. The middle class is usually just being pushed down by the upper elites. We're given a nice introduction to what's her name?
The fired
the fired waitress.
Her name's Cameron. I think her name is Cameron.
Cameron?
Yeah.
And Cameron gets to know her wealthy incompetent neighbors who don't know basic stuff that she thought was basic because she grew up in a lower class community, like turning your water on. They didn't know how to do that. She had to do it for them.
And figure out how a hose works.
That's so silly.
And they're not like bad people, her neighbors. They're just like very incompetent, I suppose. So then after that, we get to see Renato chilling out with the boys, his friends, kind of. And they're talking about what the meaning of being rich is, and if they have any moral obligation to do anything being rich. One of them thinks that they do. The other one thinks they don't. And the conversation kind of ends there as Bliss shows up.
And I just want to say real quick, these guys have the douchiest names I've ever seen. Like, so like one of his, they're called Harry Carrington Kinder. It's Harry Carrington hyphen Kinder, and Tristan Westwood the Third.
I hate that.
And it's funny, yeah, because like that on with the Declan's, what they said, like, because they acknowledged that, like, yeah, like they were born into their wealth. They've gone to the, like, you know, Ivy League schools without even having to attend classes. Like, you know, they're working in their family's businesses without any, like, you know, actual experience on how businesses work, unless it's brought onto their parents. But yeah, it's the most privileged thing I've ever seen. But it's written that way.
Yeah. So yeah, like he's basically saying that like the people born generations after the wealth is accumulated kind of are just like mindless like shells of a human being that don't know what their purpose is. So then Bliss comes in, asks Renato to follow her. They go into a dark room together. Renato thinks something's going to happen, but then Bliss turns to him crying about DB dying, and Renato's like, "Oh no, how did that happen? I'm so sorry."
No, he's not. She thinks he's missing. Like that.
Oh, missing. Right. And Renato's like, "Oh, he'll pop up eventually. Don't worry." And then we see an interesting scene of Bliss's father.
Wait, Declan, you missed something.
What did I miss?
The twist is that, like, he said that DB yacht was found abandoned. Like, there's no bodies, there's no nothing.
And Ming Ming, the girl that Renato picked out of the safe room, is missing, and they don't know where she is.
Yeah, but like the whole yacht was cleaned out. Like, it's abandoned. Like, there's nothing there. So like, which is like
dead bodies or anything. Yeah. So then we see the Tony Stark / Batman dude in the background as Bliss's father is throwing around fools all over the place to vent his anger, I suppose. And they're talking about how Wicked Awesome has like a lead, and how the father might not like the lead. We'll find out who he thinks the lead is eventually. And then we see a Dark Knight Returns-esque picture of Wicked Awesome, which gives no guessing of who this bad guy is supposed to represent.
Exactly.
Love his costume.
His costume is awesome. Like, I mean, when we did talk with Kaare, he did say that like one of his big favorite books of all time is The Dark Knight Returns. I mean, it is one of my favorite Batman books as well. So, there's a lot of influence there with his work. This is clearly Punisher, Iron Man, like Batman. It's like it's great. He always references how much of a dick he is in everything we see. In every
last thing.
Yeah.
He enjoys it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll quote it here. He says, "I'm such a dick, and everyone loves dick," and he flies off.
What a man! He's oozing charisma.
So, Bliss's father is speaking to like a board of directors from various places around the world, and they say he is basically kicked out of the operation if he doesn't find the murderer of DB. And Bliss's father doesn't take that too well. He kind of throws a body through the panel that they were all talking through. Cut back.
And I just want to say real quick that they think that that DB fled because he took a large investment of their money and just dipped, and they don't like that, obviously. So that's why they need to find him.
Yeah. They're not concerned about DB as like a human life, just the capital.
So little did they know, Renato already murked him.
So then we go back to the girl that is being exposed to the suburban life.
Yeah, Cameron.
Yeah. She just came back from a hard day's work of trying to find work. And the neighbors are over. And the neighbor's wife is trying to make dinner. And that dinner is not going well.
She's literally flailing at she's trying to cut carrots, but like she's literally flailing the knife in like a rage because she's not, and she's burning sauce and everything. It's
yeah, something's on fire. The smoke alarm's going off. Beep, 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 beep. And basically they bond. They're like, hey, she's like, hey, chill out. And they make dinner together. So then we go to the Blue Cliffs estate.
Well, I also just want to say real quick, I love the fact that like the moment the fire alarm goes off, she really goes like, "Oh my god, everything's on fire! Everyone, everything of value would leave. We're gonna die!" Like she said, freaking out. It's so funny. Like it's like she's so incompetent. She doesn't even know how to deal with a grease fire. Like
but she does know how to drink red wine.
Yeah, she loves some wine. Wow,
important things in life.
Just basically the standard like white suburban mom.
Yeah.
So then Blue Cliffs estate, we see Wicked Awesome pop up again, and he's doing some investigation work, and he finds that Ming Ming is missing. They recently, when they cleared out the ship, captured Ming Ming to investigate and find out who the freelancer is. But now Ming Ming's missing, and we don't quite know where she is. So now Wicked Awesome has to track down Ming Ming, and he's not too happy about that.
And I love the room. Like you just see like the body lines of like how many all the people who Renato killed in the room. I think it's wild, and he's wearing a birthday hat.
Yeah, he's wearing a birthday.
Okay, yeah. All right. Sorry, Declan.
Oh, no problem. So then we see Renato get shot in the back as he's returning to his home. And we see his mentor, his Alfred, is the one that shot him in a very cool inverse suit from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it a lot.
This makes me think that, well, one, he was shot by rock salt, and then Renato kind of just like punches him in the face, and it's over. But this makes me think that once Alfred was the freelancer, and now he's trying to get Renato to take up the because why else would he have his own costume for it? You know?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking as well. Like it's like he wanted him to. He thought it'd be a good way for this new Renato to finish the work that he left off.
Yeah. So then the final scene is we meet up with Ming Ming again, and Ming Ming's looking for Wu Long, and we don't know who Wu Long is to her. Might be like a friend, an acquaintance, family. She turns around, Wu Long is missing his head. And then she turns around again, and Wicked Awesome is there with a chainsaw. And we don't quite know what happens after that, actually. That is a mystery. So we go back to Bliss and her father, and now Mr. Ronaldo, or Renato. And basically, Renato's still simping a little bit. I believe Bliss was informed that that DV it was dead. No, not yet. But Bliss's father is basically like, "Hey, Renato, I don't think highly of you at all. You just follow my daughter around, you weirdo." And Renato's like, "Cool, I'll go protect your daughter while you sit up in this high tower, dude." They don't seem to have the best relationship with one another, which we find out why in later issues. So then Renato equally kind of just pushes Bliss to get driven home by his chauffeur, not really paying her much attention either. the two people in her life kind of just like pushing her aside. And yeah, so the last scene is I don't quite know how to interpret that art of the last scene.
I mean, well, granted, you also Nicola's talking to Mr. Wicked Awesome while he's with Renato, and Blaze talking about like who he thinks the person the well, I don't want like the loose end. I don't know if it's like a loose end or the informant that he thinks
The freelancer, yeah.
Yeah, who he thinks that like either the freelancer or like the extra person, the other person that was at the boat with DB when he disappeared, when he vanished. Sorry.
No problem. So yeah, the last scene I think is Ming Ming getting tortured by Wicked Awesome.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Then someone driving away, and that dog. I'm pretty sure it's Bliss, right? The one that's
It's
driving away?
Bliss, yeah.
Okay.
It's basically just the reveal that like he thinks the leak or the person that like the loose end that last saw DB alive was or who killed all those people was Bliss.
I got a little bit thrown for a loop because she has the same chihuahua as Mrs. Trump did.
Wow.
So yeah, that's issue 3, and issue 4, an equally cool cover, not quite the same though. Mm-hmm. Is Renato reflecting on his past, on how he met Bliss. So him and Bliss actually were going to run away together, or so he thought. We find out that through this epic scene where they're typing in numbers to try and unlock the key, and the dogs are about to eat them up, that his mentor had been counting every day since actual Renato went missing. And that's how he figures out the key code, because it just goes up 1 from every day that Renato had been gone, and still goes up by 1 now because Renato is not back. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they meet up together. Well, they like get out, and then they decide to hide out like in the compound still, because they won't expect them to still be in the compound. And then they kiss and like spend some time together. This kind of shows that like their Renato and Bliss's relationship's a bit closer than like just like brother or sister, or like just like friends or
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah. They're not related, but like they're just neighbors.
Yeah, but they consider themselves like so.
No, she does. He doesn't.
Oh, she like. It's weird.
It's
like
weird. It's not
weird.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. So the next day, Renato wakes up alone, where Bliss should have been, and Bliss pulled a prank on him, an epic prank, and got her father to meet up with him. And the maids think that Renato's odd because he's wearing a dress and stuff like that. Renato's like, "Hey, Bliss, take off your sunglasses," because Bliss has a hit mark from her father hitting her. Yeah. So Bliss is like, "Hey, dude, you need to chill out and watch what you're saying." And Renato's like, "You set me up." And then Bliss's father is like, "Yeah, you're just telling a story. Something's weird with you, kid." But like we see, that's where the animosity between them sort of begins, because he's in on Bliss's father's secret of that he's a horrible father.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get an interlude where Renato is traveling to go kill Ming Ming, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But because he doesn't want to. It's Lee's idea to kill Ming Ming.
Yeah, it's he wants to kill Ming Ming because Church because I forgot to mention in the previous in 3 and at the end, like when he catches Renato, he doesn't like that like Renato like is left a loose end. Because he doesn't want any distractions or anything to jeopardize the operation. And he mentions, because like I also forgot, like my favorite panel in the book in the 3rd issue is when it's like a big shot of like of Renato in black and white, another black and white shot, and right here, and he said that like he doesn't want, if everything's jeopardized, he doesn't want Renato to die twice, which is like it's a really good line, and it's just like but yeah, that's what I want to say. But yeah, he's trying to kill Ming Ming because she's a loose end.
Yes, and then we see the light in the plane just like go out, and we assume that it's still in the plane, and we see like a butler talking to somebody, asking if everything's all right, and then they pick up a gun, and then that person is walking out towards the public, or like walking somewhere to try and like hunt for someone. And then slowly it's revealed that this transition to a flashback, and it's very cool, like subtle transition, where Renato as a child went to Bliss's father's house and cut the power because he wants to shoot and kill Bliss's father. But Bliss is like, if you do that, my life is going to get exponentially worse. I'm going to lose all of this wealth. I'm going to be like on the streets or like in an orphanage. Yeah. You cannot do this, buddy.
Yeah, because she's adopted. She was adopted, as I said. Like she was adopted to this family, to this wealth. She won't have her trust fund until she is of age. So if he kills her father, it's gonna ruin her life. And
yes.
Yeah.
How old was Renato when he was planning to do this? This man looks like he's 5.
Yeah. He was like maybe
11.
Maybe like either between, we'll say, like 8 to like 11. We'll say. I can't really tell. He's like young.
I don't know about you, but it's still pretty darn early to start, saying they want to murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow they found a gun that perfectly fit in a 11-year-old's palm as well.
Yeah, what?
The thing is, like, it's kind of, I like this scene a lot because remember, Church has been training him to enact the search. This is like the birth of like the freelancer, and you see it again in the shadow of young Renato. I think it's really cool.
I think another cool touch is the only thing that has color is the bruise mark on Bliss's face.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Okay. Wow. Okay. Another big brain.
Yeah, sort of like the he probably drew inspiration when making that from Schindler's List, where the only thing that had color was the little girl's dress, the red dress.
Mm-hmm.
To like indicate like innocence or something. So yeah, anyway, Bliss's father comes and Renato's like gone, or not gone, but like watching in the distance, and everything kind of like settles down over there. Meanwhile, we find out that Bliss's father is running for president, in a very Trump-esque way. He Make America Hate. He's trying to pit America. Ironically, fiction often resembles real life. He's trying to pit America against the wealthy when he himself is the wealthy that he's trying to demonize. He sheds some crocodile tears while giving the speech, and kind of uses Bliss as a way to like humanize him. And in the crowd is Wicked Awesome, dressed like an Inspector Gadget.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. I didn't even put that together.
And then we do have a thing, Douche, Pure Home, one of the ads, basically just a girl in a like golden lingerie suit with a douche on it.
Fuck, did I miss? I
Love to
missed
see
that.
it.
I missed that. Shit.
Yeah, because it's at the end, like after the
Yeah, I didn't look past that shit.
yeah.
Okay. But I bet it's awesome. I don't see it in here though. I don't see it in the trade, but yeah, I guess only for the single issues.
Yeah, it's nothing too like important. It's just a joke.
Yeah. But yeah, so thoughts on issues 3 and 4?
A lot of exposition being set up, a lot of things in motion. I think it's interesting that he killed off not Donald Trump to replace him with another not Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, that's I think it's pretty funny. I mean, yeah, I dig the exposition, like just get more backstory, get unlayer the onions of Renato. It's really well done. And we said this before, like before we start, like it's episode this issue reads really quick. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
But granted, like he uses a lot more splashes, which is again when he said in the interview, like he took the advantage of like incorporating a lot of splashes in his work, which make and because Image, you get paid when the book's done. So like he just so it makes sense why it would read so quick. But yeah, I think I like both issues a lot. Both issues are pretty good.
They are.
All right, then I guess I will close it out unless anyone has any more thoughts on issue 3 and 4. Nope. Nope. All right. So, alrighty then. So we will begin with the last issue, issue 5. Yeah, I love this. Is like my favorite cover. I like because it's literally like it's the exact opposite. It's like literally like it's the same cover from issue 1 with a different background color and just switched with Bliss holding the gun and holding Renato instead of the other way around. It's really cool. And I love the look at it. Spoiler alert! He fucking dies. It's just great. But yeah, so yeah, issue 5. Issue 5 starts with Cameron talking with her family and about like their predicament. Talking about like just her like finally getting a job, and her mom mentions, well, why didn't you want to like, what about getting in touch with your friends, to maybe get a job again with that banker? And it's like, oh yeah, like those wealthy people are my friends, and she notices outside that her neighbor's wife is starting to pack up and leave, and she asks, hey, are you going on a trip? And it's like, no, like she basically just says, is like, Cameron, like it's like it was really cool. It was a cute neighborhood. It was a quaint town, and I thought I could do it. But sometimes and things like my husband likes to take care of other people, but it comes that time where you gotta eventually take care of yourself. And then she basically's like, I was like checking on him every once in a while, please. And then she leaves, and then we get these transition panels of her like checking on Bill, who's her neighbor, and he just goes back inside. So she essentially just basically like, yeah, I can't deal with the suburban life anymore because I want the 1% wealthy life. So I left my husband. And it's just like, damn, okay.
She said marry rich.
Yeah, word marry rich.
I'm pretty sure like because Bill and Renato have like a bit of dialogue in between as well. I'm not sure if it's like after this or like in a previous issue, but I'm pretty sure Bill might be doing this out of like his own like will. Like I'm not sure he's being blackmailed by Renato.
Yeah, I think it's like obviously we didn't touch on this earlier, which we should have, but like Renato clearly is the reason why she lives in the suburbs in the first place because he didn't like the way DB treated her, of course, because DB is a part of the one. He hates the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like it looks like it may be like Bill may be a part, maybe owned by Renato, because I don't know if it was this issue or if it was the last one where Renato looked like he was talking to someone. I think I could be wrong. Yeah, I think it was the previous issue where like Renato was on the phone with somebody, and it may have been may have been Bill, you know. But I could be wrong. But anyway, transitions. It transitions to So yeah, obviously disclaimer. This is an adult book, but I have to put this in because I love this page so much. But we get this splash page of their title card for Renato Jones, and it's of a you know, because the wealthy love eating sushi off of naked women. But I thought it was a really cool way to introduce the book. So yeah, it was an interesting creative choice on Kari's part. But yeah, I love this page a lot. It's a very, again, another James Bond way of introducing of a title card. But it transitions to he's in Shenzhen, China, Renato, you know, on the phone, pretending that he's taking a selfie, and we get introduced to this basically this name a man named, I think his name is Sean I think Sean Pitts, I think his name is. But basically he's Steve Jobs. He's Steve Jobs, the tech mogul, wearing the bald headed, wearing the turtleneck as well. And he's just talking about, you know, this new idea involving human interactivity, and he's like, you know, eating this sushi off of this what is called a nyotorami, a nyotai mori model. So it's a Japanese thing. And you know, Ronald bumps into him while he eats sushi, and he chokes. See, more choking, like literal. He's literally choking. Choke on this. I see what you did there, Kari. But he's choking. Ronaldo then takes his phone and then hits him in the back of the back of the, I think it's the back of the, in his back or in his sternum, to then, you know, basically like to so he coughs the piece up. He's like, "Oh my God, you're Renato Jones. You saved my life." And he's like, "Ah, it was no biggie. It was a coincidence, you know." And it's like, and he's basically talking about like how like his phone essentially like it's because Sean owns a company called Plum, which is clearly not Apple, but he's talking about how like how his phone basically, like, you know, after 6 months of having it, it's practically a brick, so it came in handy. And then he basically like, and Renato talks to him about, you know, he wants to invest in technology, and it wants to be a part of the Blum company, and Blum is considering it, but he said but he has to deal with a meeting involving the benefits of like workers that are going to be part of his branch here in China. And then so Renato, you know, he offers Renato a piece of sushi off of this naked woman, and he's basically like, "Nah, I like, you know, I'd rather have my sushi to go." And he basically gets these two Nyotai Mori models to come and eat with him, and he speaks Chinese and asks, you know, if they're famished. He's like, yes, they are, and like, you know, and he leaves with these two women. Transitions to you know, this is again with this interesting narrative structure of Renato narrating, and I'm talking about his experiments with these two models eating eating sushi, while at the same time Sean is in a meeting with Chan, who is a part of I forget the company's name, but it's Tech-Chi, who is going to affiliate themselves with Blum to make more products. Talking with their workers, and we see an intercom where these workers are essentially like, they're practically slaves. They're slaves. Like, we're not gonna be shocked. They're literally slaves.
They're not allowed to quit. Like
Yeah.
they work extremely long hours. They are away from their families. They are not allowed to quit, and it's awful. But yeah, but so we get adjusted. So then after that, we get, obviously Renato is on the other side. There he is naked while the women eat off of him, and I think it's kind of interesting that, like, you know, he'd rather have the workers partake than him partaking himself. I think it's kind of interesting. And then a worker falls off of,
or he's a simp.
he partakes a bit. But a worker decides to jump off of the building and make a splat on the canvas. And then Sean's like, "What the hell? Like, why are your workers doing this?" He's like, "Oh, like, you know," he's like, I got blood over my shirt." And like, and then like the boss, I think his name is Lou, is like, "Oh, there's no problem. You know, we'll get this situated. Like, they're some of them are being, a small portion of them are growing in disobedience. Yeah, that's unacceptable." And he's like, you know, and he's like, he's like, like, fuck your slaves. Like, he's like, it's my stock. If my stock takes a hit, you're in trouble. And some more of that 1% conversation. And yeah, and then I like the scene where, like, while he's walking through the facility, we get a scene of like how the workers are being treated, they're being beaten around if they're not working, and like one of the workers says like, oh no, I have rights, and he's like, please, and one guy's like, please, I just want to quit, just let me go. It's just wild. And while this Renato is again eating the sushi and partake and fucking,
among other things,
yeah. But and then S.H.I.E.L.D. basically is just like, and S.H.I.E.L.D. has these women that are walking with him, these his cohorts or assistants, who will come into play later, and it's just like, is like, and I love how he says this, he's like, if we could simply improve the working conditions, and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s like, I could give a fuck about your working conditions, but your not working conditions won't be tolerated. I love that line. And it's just, yeah, it's just basically, it's like, he's gonna be using slave labor to produce more products with this Chinese company. And we get another ad, and it's clearly relevant with this issue, is oppression for everyone. Yeah, it's great, it's good stuff. Yeah, another well done satire ad. It transitions to Sean, talking about this new update that will be applied to all of Blum product phones. And the women, I think the women only say two things. It's the same assistants. And I think they're twins. And basically all they say is relax, relax, like calm, relax, relax. And he's like, and then like while this is happening, a thing is he's recording. Looks like his phone is recording something while he lays it down. And then and he's about to partake in some sex. That's what's gonna happen with these women. And we see Renato slowly just creep up behind them. And then I love how it says like updating carrier settings, and then we see the cool like symbol, the black with the white stripe, which is indicating like Renato, like the mask on Renato's eyes, that he took control of his phone. And he creeps up behind him, and he's just saying Steve Jobs sure was trying to fuck these women. He's just like, I am the future, I am the singularity, I am the phone, I am the pad, I am the watch. Like, he's just like what on earth? Like, he's talking about his tech while he's messing with these women. And Renato shows up. He's like, oh, the freelancer, and he's like, and Rouse is like, problem with the future is it always catches up with you. Oh, good line. And then he tells like the workers to leave. And he's like, they're not workers, they're products, and they fucking transform into into goddamn like robots. So essentially, like, Renato's like, holy shit, and it's revealed that these women are pleasure bots that Sean has been designing. They're not actually crazy. Yeah, they're not actual women. They're pleasure bots that he's created. And they go, and they basically
is also to kill.
They also are meant for killing as well. And they burst out of the window, and Ryle's like, holy shit, and basically gets starts to set up this really cool like fight that he has to have. And I love this page. Is an awesome page. It's a great page of him falling down. But yeah, like they basically all these this swarm of sex bots come after him, and basically like they're trying to relax, to come, and he's like, and Sean's like, oh, like it's the freelancer, like, oh, like these are my new line of pleasure bots, and it said they're designed to fill your every pleasure, and they transform, as you can see, into and he basically says like, fill you until you're fucking dead. Lord. But yeah,
be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes. But yeah, they're about to mess around up, and then all you hear is the phone hit Sean's phone with that Renato taking control of, to beep, and basically like it's an EM, like it shuts down all of the system nearby Blum products in the area.
It updated them.
Yeah, updated. Did it update them? Yeah, that's
it updated their time, because the joke was they go obsolete after 6 months, so people have to buy new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just changed the date and time in their internal systems.
Yeah, exactly. It is funny. But then, he knocks them, all the women, all the bots drop. And then Renato decides, hey, like, you turn them into bricks, because obviously, again, to update them. And so that people have to buy more. And, like, you put, you decrease the power on the battery because, the batteries are artificially, can be controlled via the computer. But he said, I can also reverse them as well. And the phone explodes, which I love because I know for a fact, me and Doug was like, it's a comment. It's literally Kaare talking about the Samsung incident with their phones and how they were melting people's faces. I think it's so great. Oh my god, it's my favorite moments in the book. So his face starts to melt off, and then like he says to like you were always referred to yourself as like Gandhi. Like Gandhi or like Einstein, but the thing is, Gandhi never owned sweatshops. And it's like in the service of your success is on slave labor, and basically you run to the corner, says choke on this, and he cracks his neck, and he dies. But then I don't know what this is referring to, but like there is a worker who basically like starts to like gargle and just like choke, and and it's this really good splash of like all the workers working and the announcer having, but this man just like something's wrong with him, like he's choking. I don't really know what that's referring to, or if that's alluding to something, but maybe it's setting up something in the future. And we get one of my favorite ads in the comic, where it's a nod to a Calvin Klein ad, and it's like money won't save you, and it's this really dope like Calvin Klein type motto, but wearing like an actual like Renato like freelancer mask, and it's a really cool page. Like, I mean, definitely we were saying before that like this was probably an ad that he actually shot himself because this is a practically made mask onto a
Fun
model.
fact, that's him. That's Kaare.
That's Kaare. Oh yeah, it's actually Kaare. Yeah, fun fact, it's actually Kaare.
This is the only actual ad as well, because it's promoting the trade paperback.
Yeah, exactly. Which is great. But
oh, that's probably why he shot it himself, because he couldn't use the other ones for actual promotion of real products.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
So it transitions to on the West Coast where Nicola and Bliss are having their press conference to announce Nicola for presidency. He's talking with Renato. He's texting Renato while this is happening, and she basically just like wants to like have a conversation eventually about the two of them, because I'm assuming like because they realize like we have feelings for each other, and it transitions to Mr. Wicked Awesome. He just murdered the women that he had slept with, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, thanks, Liz, that was wicked awesome." Talking about how much of a dick he is. And then he basically says, it was fun, but I gotta do this first. He kicks his window out, gets a rocket launcher, and what do you know? He was having sex in the hotel room that is conveniently across the press conference that Nicola's having, and he gets a rocket launcher, and he's like, I need a shower first, but like let me just shoot this rocket, and he launches it at Nicola and Bliss, and then they notice it, and they're just and Nicola at the same time is like talking about like to make America hate again. We have to hate the people that are oppressing you, and like and you have to fight for like someone to like make them pay and to give you what you deserve. And he's showing what he's about to deserve because he's about to get a missile directly to the fucking face. And I didn't put this here, but we get these various splash, like it just goes straight to white after Mr. Wicked Awesome says boom, and we get these transition pages of like like the dialogue is like it's basically like the aftershock of an explosion. It just goes like in moves where it goes straight to white and everything starts to fade in, and you get to see like the speech bubbles start to appearing, and just Renato. Just like of a news transition of Renato listening to, and we can see Renato's plane just slowly like fade in to the page, and then just slowly zoom in. And basically like people think it's a terror attack, like it's like just pandemonium happening, and no one knows what's happening. People are trying to confirm if Bliss and Nicola are killed, and basically transitions to the last page where Renato and Church are basically just like witnessing this event go down, this explosion happening, firsthand, and then and basically like and it's this really good dialogue. It says dies, all that is left, all that is left is him, and God help them for what he's going to do.
Wow.
And that's how issue 5 ends. So thoughts on issue 5, people?
I really like. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
you can go. No,
Okay.
I was just gonna say I would really like to see Renato Jones in The Boys. I think that would be an
Wow.
awesome dichotomy between like him and Billy Butcher.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Literally just talk about like their ideologies together.
Exactly. Like yeah, exactly how like Billy Butcher hates the soup so much, and like Renato just hates the wealthy, the 1%. They're very similar when it comes to like that front, you know.
They're basically the same thing.
Yeah. Issue 5 is just great. I mean, the problem that we've addressed before, like before we started, was that like this kind of it's just an abrupt ending. We thought it could have used a little bit more stuff, but like we can see why Kaare did this, because he was clearly going to make another series following this up. But other than that, no, it's a really good. I love like the white aftershock and then the fade in. I think it's fantastic. And very smart and very clever. But yeah, this is a really it's an abrupt ending, which sucks, but it's still a lot of good stuff to look at in this book. With this issue. Yeah, and the sex bots, that was hilarious. That's my
Yeah, I really like no matter how much money you have, like you still can't even afford the touch of a woman, so you make your own sex robots.
That's true. But yeah, anyone have any other thoughts on issue 5?
Rest in peace, Bliss. Maybe.
I mean, we don't know.
I
Maybe.
really liked her.
Yeah,
Well,
we don't know. It's a pretty ambiguous ending, which is the point. But yeah, all right.
Something I think is interesting that Renato in this last scene shows that the only thing like keeping him chained to the ground was a rich, wealthy, like privileged person, very similar. Well, from what we have seen, who has similar characteristics to the people he's been killing, but the only difference is that he has like an actual childhood connection to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like we never see like Bliss as like a like super like good person as an adult. We kind of just see Bliss like hanging out or like being rich. So like I wonder how much of that like idealization of Bliss from Renato's perspective is his own like personal attachment.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
yeah, it's actually a pretty good thought.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Actually. But I mean, I also like this page a lot is because something about this page just real quick. It's about the like church is on the foreground here, while Renato's like in the background, covered in shadow, feeling that like basically like kind of showcasing that like church is like the main reason why Renato is who he is, and like he's control. He even though Renato, yeah, he's killing off 1%, but like truly like now that the distraction of Bliss being out of the way, if so it seems that like church can now continue to control Renato to enact his mission. And yeah, I think it's really cool symbolism there with that page. That's how I interpret it.
Also, Renato's like shocked to his core.
Yeah,
Church doesn't care at all.
he doesn't give a shit. Yeah. Any other thoughts on issue 5 at all? Or no?
Not really. I thought overall it's really great.
All right, so then we'll just obviously we're gonna go like just so final thoughts on the book. I mean, obviously with the ending, we clearly know, and I'll pull this ad up, that like Renato has a season 2, like he got a season 2 after this, and I love this ad a lot too. It's a fantastic ad.
I wonder why.
I wonder why you like it.
It's very like, you ever watched the show like Nip Tuck? You ever never watched that show?
No.
Oh well, it's a lot reminds me of Nip Tuck, so that's why I liked it a lot. But it gets a season 2. But any like final thoughts on like the series as a whole? I don't know who wants to go first. Um,
I think it's a very interesting product of the time we live in, after this is written by someone who firsthand experienced a recession, a housing crisis,
mhm,
America get dragged into a war across the seas that's still going on.
mhm.
Like millennials have kind of witnessed a lot of shit in their timeline. And like now the COVID, this was written before COVID, but like now even with COVID, we're kind of experiencing a second recession. I think
Mhm.
this is a very interesting product, a very interesting art piece, about like how much like anger right now is in the general populace, like around these figures that are seemingly insurmountable, and an interesting way of Carrie Kyrie taking some sort of control in it, like
Mhm.
trying to write a story of like the average man like taking control over the situation, like in an unapologetic like brutal way. I just think like there's a lot like you can say with the effect and like the creation of this is like an art piece of like the modern age.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I totally
Um,
agree. Like to add to that too. Sorry, I cut you off.
that's fine.
Like honestly, like there's not a lot of like comics that I've read at least that like directly tied to like problems we face today with like the 1% and like the child labor and slave trade, whatever. And I feel like it's like really great to like read topics that are about that because like it should get some more awareness.
Hmm. Yeah, for me, I mean, I read this I think like 2 years ago, so I feel like it has a different like connotation right now because like we're also in a, like as we said with COVID, we're in going towards more of a second recession, and stuff where you know the the general populace, the middle class, lower class are being very affected by this, while the upper and 1% are still thriving, and and it's just very interesting, this like very commentary that matters like at now, as well as again when you mentioned the fact that like millennials have witnessed economic recession, housing crisis, all that stuff. And it's just really dope, interesting, just commentary on just the on like as Makari said, how like there's not that that the wealthy are evil, that there's evil behind wealth. And yeah,
And
it's just
some of the wealthy are evil.
yeah, and so the wealthy are evil as well.
Like it's a certain president that was our last president, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Um, but yeah, it's just a very and just like I love like just to go off just like the narration with Renato, just like as again what Gary said, like being a wolf in sheep's clothing, and just how again the Bruce Wayne or Batman identity for like psychology with that, how he presents himself as Renato Jones, the billionaire, but in reality, like he is just mocking everything that happens throughout going through the 1% as a member of the 1%. And I think it's and the what
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
and just the fact that like I love that like he isn't actually the real Renato. Like that if he was the real Renato, then that would have been a whole different like interpretation of like why he's doing what he's doing. And yeah, I mean it was well like just the dialogue, it's really well written. It's probably one of my favorite things. Like even though I love Iron Fist, I love the way that Iron Fist, like the way he wrote this is very like complex, very well thought out with how he incorporates the commentary that he discusses, as well as contemplating that with the amazing art. And he plays around with again like silhouettes and like shadows and the ads as well. And for people who were because me and Declan have this on trade, but like Hannah, you're reading it on your phone digitally, and the way like obviously the way it's structured is it's more of a TV show. Like I love that TV show. I've never seen that in a comic other than this. With the intro cards, the recaps as well, and the ads. to act as commercials. Yeah, but it's one of my favorite books, one of the most unique books I've ever in comics that have come out in the past couple of years. So yeah, Hannah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say when you brought up Batman, the only difference between them is that Renato attacks rich people and Batman attacks poor people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally, that's an interesting like comparison. All superheroes that are primarily vigilantes, Punisher, Batman, I guess Tony Stark attacks rich people when they steal his intellectual property only, but yeah, like primarily Punisher and Batman. Like Punisher kills poor people for doing crimes that rich people are enforcing. Like Punisher like has a very like utilitarian like his way or the highway approach, but like he never considers like what's the root of all this like violence and like how if he really was willing to take that stuff, like how would he stop it? Like sure he goes after the kingpin, but that's more like a personal grudge than anything else. Something else I think is interesting is I don't know if they explore it in the next season, but I would like to see if it's ever explored like that. Renato might be like killing a bunch of rich people and stuff, but like he's still like a rich white dude living in America and benefiting off of like his family's wealth needs to be coming from basically like that'd be a good ending. It's like he's the 1%. It's in the title. Like he's still benefiting from all this stuff that like everyone else is. So like I would love to see that explored. That like he's like the good guy, but like is he like completely absolved from all of this like corruption and stuff? Like is he not waking up in like thousands of dollars worth like leopard skin or everything when he wakes up? Like
exactly.
He's very much enjoying the privileges of wealth.
Yeah, I mean, there's either two routes. Either he could burn his entire like corporation to the ground as well as wealth, or he just kills himself.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and just like this again, just to touch on more like the art, the fact that like he kind of like makes like goes like with like the grindhouse appeal of just like making like just absurd just violence like pretty in a way. I don't know if that's like a good idea of like putting it like
appealing.
Yeah, a lot more appealing and like focusing on like in a way like as like the readers as well as like in the book like why violence is so tied to wealth in a way, and it's just I just want to it was a really like thing I just thought of, but yeah, anyone wants to give a rating, any like ratings, final rating for Renato Jones 1%?
Out of what?
Out of 10.
Give it an 8.5.
8.5. All right, Hannah, what do you got?
I was thinking the same actually.
8.5. I'll give it an 8.5, but because it's a Kaare book, and I love this man to death with his work,Ll give it a 9.
Oh, you gotta be the contrarian.
I gotta be the contrarian. I'll give it a 9. It's a well thought out, like well written, well drawn, thought out book, and it's fantastic. So we recommend y'all go to your local comic book shop and check it out. It's ready in trade. And a beautiful trade it is. I love the trade a lot.
I love the cover, like the gloss over it.
Yeah,
like,
the gloss. I don't know if you can see, but like it says
nice.
It says words on it. Yeah, there we go. And the sheen. It says the super rich get super fucked, and then at the back it says the whole like let them eat me whole, like let them choke.
Yeah, that's such an interesting and creative way of like having words on a like it sounds so simple, having words on a paper without having them obscure like the art or anything else. Like I would have never thought of that. That's such a creative way of I guess what's it called, like adding shining to
like gloss or some gloss or some sheen. But yeah, very dope. Also like at the back of the book, I'll just say real quick, there's really good like sketching and like some concept stuff in here, as well as like a design for the characters, like an entire page on like his layouts for the book
Wow.
as well as like his ideas for like the covers and his design for Renato as well. And also a very interesting, if you see it in trade, a very interesting message for everyone who reads it on like why it's important to here's a version of why it's important to be a comic creator and to create and own your own stuff, which I admire as much because he's a very big advocate on owning your own material and doing the writing and the art as well as a creator. But yeah, that was Renato Jones. We'll maybe do season 2 at some point. We'll see how this video does. But yeah, also I put the link for our interview with Kaare Andrews in the description below. So again, yeah, thanks Declan and Hanna for joining me with this book.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But so I will just end it here. I don't really have an. I do the. It's not the same having Christian here
Make
because
sure
I'm
to
so used to
smash that like button, hit the subscribe, make sure to ring your bell notifications, leave a comment down below if you think that the rich in America are too wealthy. Thank you so much.
and they deserve to be executed. We don't condone execution here on the Students of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Actually,
But,
a better question is:
just-
would you eat sushi
just-
off the naked woman's body? Would you do that?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, put that. We want to know. We want to know the details. And obviously the
If
quote
so, how did you get into that hobby?
Yeah. How do you find out you like to?
And obviously to quote the boy without fear, wash your damn hands, obviously. And we'll
Wear a
catch you
mask.
on the
And
next
don't lick doorknobs on other planets.
exactly. And we'll catch y'all on the next one and done. All right, bye everyone.